The midday sun beat down on the city street, reflecting harshly off the grimy pavement. People hurried by, their faces set with the usual big city frown. Then it happened. A man stumbled, his hand flying to his side, and crumpled to the ground next to an overflowing garbage can. A collective gasp rippled through the crowd. The man lay still, a dark stain blooming on his shirt. Blood. It was impossible to ignore. The mundane rush of city life screeched to a halt. Fear pulsed through the onlookers. Some recoiled, instinctively stepping back. Others froze, their eyes wide with a mixture of horror and morbid curiosity. A few pulled out their phones, their fingers hovering over the camera app. A young woman clutched her shopping bag tighter, her heart pounding in her chest. A businessman in a sharp suit paused, his brow furrowed with concern. But he didn't move closer. The air crackled with a strange tension, a silent question hanging heavy. What do we do? The scene was a stark contrast to the everyday hustle and bustle. The vibrant energy of the city street was suddenly replaced by a chilling stillness, broken only by the distant wail of a siren. A sound that, for a moment, seemed to echo the fear in everyone's hearts. The man lay motionless, a stark reminder of vulnerability in the heart of the city. He needed help, but the initial shock had paralyzed everyone. The man on the ground groaned softly, a sound barely audible above the city's hum. Still, no one moved to help. The hesitation was palpable. It was as if an invisible barrier surrounded him, keeping people at bay. A teenager in ripped jeans snapped a quick photo with his phone, then posted it to social media with a sensationalized caption. Another person started recording a video narrating the scene in hushed tones as if documenting a breaking news event. The impulse to capture the moment seemed to override the instinct to assist. Whispers rippled through the crowd. Shouldn't we do something? One woman murmured to her companion, who shrugged nervously. I don't know, what if he's dangerous? The fear of getting involved, of making things worse, seemed to outweigh the basic human instinct to help someone in need. The businessman, who had initially shown concern, now averted his gaze, pretending to be engrossed in a phone call. The young woman with the shopping bag trembled, her eyes darting around, searching for someone else to take charge. A heavy sense of helplessness settled over the scene. Everyone seemed to be waiting for someone else to act, for someone to break the spell of inaction. But time was slipping away, and the man on the ground remained unattended, his life hanging in the balance. The weight of the collective inaction grew heavier with each passing second. The air felt thick with unspoken anxieties and a shared sense of inadequacy. The heavy silence, punctuated only by the distant siren, seemed to stretch on forever. Then, a small figure darted through the crowd. A young girl, no older than 8, with bright eyes and pigtails bouncing, pushed her way to the front. Her name was Lily. Lily's initial reaction was fear, the same fear that gripped everyone else. The blood, the stillness of the man, it was all terrifying. But something inside her, a small spark of courage, flickered to life. She couldn't just stand there and do nothing. She squeezed past the teenager with the phone, ignoring his annoyed glare. She ducked under the arm of the businessman, who didn't even seem to notice her. With each step, her determination grew stronger, pushing aside the fear. Reaching the edge of the crowd, Lily paused for a moment, taking a deep breath. The man on the ground looked so vulnerable, so alone. Her heart ached for him. She knew she had to do something, anything, to help. With a newfound resolve, Lily stepped forward, breaking through the invisible barrier that had held everyone else captive. She knelt beside the man, her small hand reaching out towards his. The crowd watched in stunned silence, their eyes fixed on the brave little girl who dared to do what they could not. The sense of helplessness began to dissipate, replaced by a glimmer of hope. Lily's actions were a stark contrast to the inaction of the adults, a beacon of courage in a sea of fear. Kneeling beside the man, Lily quickly assessed the situation. He was breathing, but his eyes were closed and the blood was still flowing. She knew she had to act fast. Remembering what she had learned in school, she reached for her small backpack. Digging inside, she pulled out her mom's old cell phone, the one she used to play games. Luckily, it still had some battery. With trembling fingers, she dialed 911. The phone rang, each ring feeling like an eternity. Finally, a voice answered. 911, what's your emergency? Lily took a deep breath and spoke clearly, her voice surprisingly steady. There's a man, he's hurt. He's bleeding. We need an ambulance right away. She gave the dispatcher the street name and described the man's condition as best she could. The dispatcher calmly assured her that help was on its way. Stay with him, honey, she said. Keep him talking if you can. Lily hung up and turned her attention to the injured man. "Hello," she said softly, gently touching his arm. "Sir? Can you hear me?" The man groaned again, his eyelids fluttering. Lily felt a surge of relief. He was still conscious. "My name is Lily," she said, her voice filled with concern. "Help is coming. Just try to stay awake, okay?" She continued to speak to him, telling him her name and asking him simple questions, hoping to keep him alert until the ambulance arrived. The crowd watched silently, awestruck by the little girl's composure and bravery. As Lily continued to talk to the man, his breathing became more regular. He opened his eyes slightly, focusing on her face. His voice was weak, but he managed to speak. My paintings." Lily frowned, confused. "Your paintings, sir?" He nodded slowly, wincing in pain. They were trying to ruin them." Lily looked around, finally noticing the scattered canvases leaning against the nearby wall. They were vibrant and colorful, depicting scenes of the city, portraits of people, and whimsical landscapes. Some of the paintings had been partially smeared with what looked like dark paint. Suddenly, the pieces clicked into place. The man wasn't just a random victim, he was a street artist who had been attacked. He had been protecting his artwork. One of the onlookers, a middle-aged woman who had been watching Lily with admiration, spoke up. "He's Mr. Rodriguez," she said. "He's always here, painting. He's very talented." Another person added, "I saw some kids messing with his paintings earlier. I didn't realize." Lily looked back at Mr. Rodriguez, her heart filled with a mix of sadness and anger. He had been hurt defending something he loved, something that brought beauty to the city. The blood wasn't from a random act of violence, it was the result of his bravery. The cut on his arm was the only visible sign of the struggle. The realization deepened the crowd's sense of guilt and sparked a renewed sense of urgency to help. Lily's bravery had broken the spell. Inspired by her actions, the crowd finally began to stir. The businessman, who had been pretending to be on the phone, snapped his phone shut and approached Lily. "I have a first aid kit in my car," he said, his voice now filled with genuine concern. "I'll get it." He hurried away, disappearing down the street. The young woman with the shopping bag, her trembling hands now steadier, offered her scarf to Lily. "Here," she said. "You can use this to put pressure on his arm." Another woman rushed into a nearby coffee shop and emerged moments later with a cup of water. "He might be thirsty," she explained. An elderly gentleman, leaning on a cane, slowly made his way to the front of the crowd. "I have a blanket in my car," he said. "It might be cold waiting for the ambulance." The atmosphere had shifted dramatically. The fear and hesitation had been replaced by a sense of collective purpose. People were no longer bystanders, they were active participants in helping someone in need. Lily watched, her heart swelling with gratitude. She had shown them the way and they had followed. The businessman returned with the first aid kit and carefully began to clean and bandage Mr. Rodriguez's arm. The young woman gently dabbed his forehead with a damp cloth. The elderly gentleman draped the blanket over him, providing warmth and comfort. The transformation was complete. The community had come together, united by an act of kindness and inspired by the courage of a little girl. Wrapped in the blanket and with his arm bandaged, Mr. Rodriguez looked up at the concerned faces surrounding him. He managed a weak smile. "Thank you," he whispered. "All of you." Lily, kneeling beside him, squeezed his hand gently. "Why do you do this, Mr. Rodriguez?" she asked. "Why do you paint here, on the street?" Mr. Rodriguez took a deep breath, his eyes sparkling with passion despite his pain. "Because art is for everyone," he said, his voice growing stronger. "It shouldn't be hidden away in museums or galleries. It should be out here, where people can see it, where it can bring a little bit of joy to their day." He explained how he loved capturing the energy of the city, the faces of its people, the beauty hidden in the everyday. He talked about how his art was a way to connect with others, to share his vision of the world. "I want to make people smile," he said. "I want to make them think. I want to make them feel something." He shared stories about people who had stopped to admire his work, who had told him how much it meant to them. He spoke of the children who would gather around him, watching him paint, their eyes wide with wonder. His art was more than just paint on canvas, it was a gift to the community. It was a way to brighten their lives and make the city a little bit more beautiful. His words resonated deeply with the crowd, giving them a newfound appreciation for the man and his art. Mr. Rodriguez's words hung in the air, prompting a shift in the crowd's perception. People who had previously walked past him without a second glance now looked at him with newfound respect and admiration. They realized they had taken his presence for granted, failing to appreciate the beauty and joy he brought to their daily lives. The teenager who had posted the photo online, now visibly ashamed, deleted his post. The businessman, having finished bandaging Mr. Rodriguez's arm, stood guard over the paintings, his shoulders squared with determination. The young woman with the shopping bag carefully wiped the smeared paint from one of the canvases. A small group of people formed around Mr. Rodriguez's artwork, acting as impromptu protectors. They stood shoulder to shoulder, their presence a clear message to anyone who might consider causing harm. They were determined to ensure that what had happened to him would never happen again. One man, a construction worker in his orange vest, pulled out his phone and started making calls. "Hey, Tony, can you bring over some rope? And maybe some of those cones we use on the site? Yeah, to protect the artwork. It's for that artist guy, Rodriguez. He got attacked." "Okay, great. Thanks, man." The community, once indifferent, had rallied around Mr. Rodriguez and his art. They had finally recognized the value of his contribution and were committed to protecting it. The attack had not only injured Mr. Rodriguez, but it had also awakened something within them, a sense of responsibility, a desire to make a difference, and a deep appreciation for the power of art. The distant wail of a siren grew louder, closer, until finally the ambulance screeched to a halt at the edge of the crowd. Two paramedics jumped out, their faces etched with professionalism and urgency. They quickly assessed the situation, their eyes scanning the scene, taking in the bandaged arm, the protective circle of people, and the vibrant artwork. Working swiftly and efficiently, they gently lifted Mr. Rodriguez onto a stretcher and secured him with straps. They asked him a few questions, checking his vital signs. He responded weakly but clearly. As they wheeled the stretcher towards the ambulance, Mr. Rodriguez turned his head and looked at Lily. He reached out his hand and she took it, her small fingers wrapping around his. "Thank you, Lily," he said, his voice barely audible. "You saved me." Lily squeezed his hand back, her eyes filling with tears. "I hope you feel better soon, Mr. Rodriguez," she whispered. The paramedics loaded Mr. Rodriguez into the ambulance and closed the doors. The siren wailed again, piercing the air as the vehicle sped away, disappearing into the city traffic. Lily watched until the ambulance was out of sight, her heart filled with a mixture of relief and worry. She was relieved that Mr. Rodriguez was finally getting the medical attention he needed, but she was still concerned about his well-being. She hoped he would recover quickly and be back on the street, painting his beautiful pictures soon. The crowd around her murmured words of support and gratitude, acknowledging her pivotal role in the events that had unfolded. The collective sigh of relief was almost palpable. The story didn't end with the ambulance driving away. The teenager who had initially posted the sensationalized photo, now filled with remorse, shared a different post, a heartfelt account of Lily's bravery and Mr. Rodriguez's passion. It went viral. Local news outlets picked up the story, interviewing witnesses and highlighting the community's response. Lily became an overnight sensation, a symbol of courage and compassion. Mr. Rodriguez's story, too, resonated deeply with people. They were touched by his dedication to his art and his commitment to bringing joy to the city. Online, people organized fundraisers to help Mr. Rodriguez pay for his medical bills and replace his damaged artwork. Artists from around the world donated paintings to be auctioned off, with the proceeds going to support him. Letters and cards poured in from people of all ages, praising Lily's bravery and expressing their admiration for Mr. Rodriguez. Schools organized assemblies to teach children about the importance of helping others and standing up for what's right. The incident had sparked a wave of kindness and empathy throughout the city. People were inspired to be better, to do more, to make a difference in their communities. Lily's simple act of courage had unleashed a powerful force for good. The story became a reminder that even in the face of fear and indifference, one person can make a profound impact. It was a testament to the power of human connection and the enduring spirit of hope. A few days later, Lily, accompanied by a group of community members, visited Mr. Rodriguez at the hospital. The group included the businessman, the young woman with the shopping bag, the construction worker, and several others who had been present on the day of the attack. They carried bouquets of colorful flowers and a stack of handmade cards filled with well wishes. Lily clutched a drawing she had made herself, a picture of Mr. Rodriguez painting in the sunshine, surrounded by smiling faces. She had carefully colored it with bright crayons, adding extra sparkles to make it shine. When they entered Mr. Rodriguez's room, his face lit up with joy. He was sitting up in bed, looking much better than they had last seen him. He smiled warmly, his eyes crinkling at the corners. "Lily," he exclaimed, his voice still a little weak but filled with genuine happiness. "And look at all of you. This is wonderful." The group crowded around his bed, offering their flowers and cards. The businessman handed him a get-well balloon shaped like a painter's palette. The young woman with the shopping bag gave him a small, framed photograph of his artwork which she had taken that day. Lily stepped forward shyly and presented her drawing. Mr. Rodriguez took it with trembling hands, his eyes glistening with tears. "This is beautiful, Lily," he said, his voice thick with emotion. "Thank you so much." He carefully pinned the drawing to the wall next to his bed where it would be the first thing he saw every morning. The visit was a powerful symbol of the community's support and a testament to the impact of their collective kindness. The support Mr. Rodriguez received during his recovery was overwhelming. The hospital room became a revolving door of visitors, each eager to offer their well wishes and express their gratitude for his contributions to the community. Nurses and doctors commented on his positive attitude and his unwavering spirit, which they believed greatly contributed to his healing. Gifts poured in from around the world, art supplies, donations, and heartfelt letters filled with encouragement. Mr. Rodriguez was deeply touched by the outpouring of love and kindness. He felt like he was no longer just a street artist, but a valued member of a community that cherished his work. The money raised through online fundraisers allowed him to not only cover his medical expenses, but also to purchase new canvases, paints, and brushes. He felt a renewed sense of purpose and a burning desire to create even more beautiful art for the city. He spent his days reading the letters and cards, each one a reminder of the impact his art had on people's lives. He realized that his work was more than just a hobby. It was a way to connect with others, to inspire hope, and to bring joy to a world that often felt dark and uncertain. The attack had been a traumatic experience, but the aftermath had shown him the true power of community and the enduring strength of the human spirit. He was determined to repay the kindness he had received by continuing to create art that would brighten the lives of those around him. The day Mr. Rodriguez returned to his spot on the street was a day of celebration. A crowd gathered, not out of morbid curiosity, but out of genuine excitement and support. Banners were strung up, balloons bobbed in the air, and the atmosphere was filled with joy and anticipation. When Mr. Rodriguez arrived, pushing a cart filled with his art supplies, a cheer erupted from the crowd. He smiled, his heart swelling with gratitude. He set up his easel, carefully arranging his canvases, his hands moving with newfound confidence. The construction worker and his crew had installed sturdy ropes and bright orange cones around his workspace, creating a safe and protected area. Volunteers from the community took turns patrolling the area, ensuring that no one would harass or vandalize his artwork again. Lily stood beside him, her eyes shining with pride. She had brought her own drawing supplies and was sketching a picture of Mr. Rodriguez as he painted. Other children joined her, their laughter and chatter filling the air. As Mr. Rodriguez began to paint, a hush fell over the crowd. Everyone watched in awe as he transformed the blank canvas into a vibrant masterpiece. His brushstrokes were bolder, his colors brighter, his spirit more alive than ever before. He was back, doing what he loved, surrounded by a community that cherished and protected him. His art was a testament to the resilience of the human spirit and the power of community to overcome adversity. The return of his art was a symbol of hope and healing for the entire city. Lily's act of bravery didn't go unnoticed. She was hailed as a hero throughout the city, a symbol of courage and compassion. The mayor presented her with a Medal of Honor at a special ceremony, praising her quick thinking and selfless actions. Her school organized an assembly in her honor where she shared her story with her classmates. She spoke about the importance of helping others even when you're scared and of standing up for what's right. Her words resonated deeply with the students, inspiring them to be more kind, more compassionate, and more brave. Letters poured in from children all over the world, expressing their admiration for Lily and promising to follow her example. She became a role model for young people everywhere, demonstrating that even the smallest person can make a big difference. Lily's story was shared in classrooms, churches, and community centers, becoming a powerful reminder of the importance of empathy and action. People were inspired to volunteer their time, donate to charities, and reach out to those in need. But for Lily, the greatest reward was seeing Mr. Rodriguez back on the street, painting his beautiful pictures, surrounded by a community that loved and supported him. She knew that her actions had not only saved a life but had also brought people together and made the world a little bit brighter. She learned that being a hero wasn't about being fearless, but about being brave enough to do what's right, even when you're scared. The attack on Mr. Rodriguez and Lily's subsequent bravery served as a catalyst for change within the community. Neighbors who had previously kept to themselves began to connect with one another, forging new friendships and building stronger bonds. A spirit of unity and cooperation permeated the air. The local community center organized workshops on first aid, conflict resolution, and community safety. People of all ages participated, eager to learn how to better protect themselves and their neighbors. Schools incorporated lessons on empathy, compassion, and civic responsibility into their curriculum. Students were encouraged to identify needs within their community and to develop projects to address them. The local government invested in more street lighting and security cameras, creating a safer environment for everyone. They also launched a campaign to promote art and culture in the city, recognizing its power to connect people and foster a sense of belonging. The incident had taught the community a valuable lesson that they were all interconnected and that their individual actions had a ripple effect on the lives of others. They learned that kindness, courage, and standing up for what's right were not just abstract concepts but essential ingredients for a thriving community. They understood that by working together, they could create a more just, more compassionate, and more beautiful world. The experience transformed the city from a place of indifference to one of caring. To further solidify their newfound sense of unity and celebrate the power of art, the community decided to embark on a mural project. They chose a large, blank wall on a building near Mr. Rodriguez's usual spot, transforming it into a canvas for collective expression. A committee was formed, composed of local artists, community leaders, and residents, including Lily and Mr. Rodriguez. They brainstormed ideas, gathering input from people of all ages and backgrounds. The goal was to create a mural that would not only honor Mr. Rodriguez but also reflect the values of kindness, courage, and community that had emerged from the incident. Mr. Rodriguez volunteered to lead the project, sharing his artistic expertise and guiding the community members through the process. He taught them about color theory, composition, and mural techniques. Over the course of several weeks, the community worked tirelessly on the mural, transforming the blank wall into a vibrant and meaningful work of art. People of all ages and skill levels participated, painting side by side, sharing stories, and building lasting connections. The project became a symbol of their shared experience, a testament to their resilience, and a celebration of their collective spirit. The mural became a visible representation of the transformed community. The day of the mural unveiling was a momentous occasion. The entire community gathered, eager to witness the culmination of their hard work and collective spirit. A large curtain concealed the mural, adding to the anticipation. The mayor, Lily, and Mr. Rodriguez stood on a small stage in front of the wall. The mayor spoke about the importance of art, community, and courage, praising Lily's bravery and Mr. Rodriguez's dedication. Then, with a flourish, Lily and Mr. Rodriguez pulled the cord and the curtain dropped, revealing the magnificent mural. A collective gasp of awe and admiration swept through the crowd. The mural depicted the events of that fateful day. In the center, Lily was shown kneeling beside Mr. Rodriguez, her hand outstretched to his. Surrounding them were the faces of the community members who had offered assistance, their expressions filled with concern and compassion. In the background, Mr. Rodriguez's colorful paintings were displayed, symbolizing the power of art to heal and inspire. The mural was a powerful reminder of the day. Everyone was moved to tears, not by fear or sadness, but by an act of extraordinary kindness and the subsequent outpouring of community support. It served as a visual representation of their shared experience, a testament to their resilience and a celebration of their collective spirit. Tears welled up in many eyes as they gazed upon the mural, overcome with emotion. The unveiling was a truly moving experience. Years passed, but the story of Lily and Mr. Rodriguez became a local legend passed down from generation to generation. The mural remained a beloved landmark, a constant reminder of the day the community came together in the face of adversity. Children would often visit the mural, their parents and grandparents recounting the story of Lily's bravery and Mr. Rodriguez's passion. They would point to the faces in the mural, identifying the individuals who had played a part in the events of that day. Mr. Rodriguez continued to paint on the street, his artwork bringing joy and inspiration to countless people. Lily grew up to become an artist herself, inspired by Mr. Rodriguez's example and driven by a desire to make a positive impact on the world. The community remained strong and connected, committed to upholding the values of kindness, courage, and unity. They understood that even in the darkest of moments, compassion and bravery could shine through, transforming lives and building a better future. The story served as a reminder that heroes can come in all shapes and sizes and that even the smallest act of kindness can have a profound impact. It was a testament to the power of the human spirit and the enduring strength of community. And it all started with a little girl who dared to be brave, a street artist who dared to share his gift, and a community that dared to care. Their story became a beacon of hope, reminding everyone that even in the most challenging circumstances, love and compassion can prevail.